What's up guys, Darius here and welcome to the Game Masters discussion. Hope you're all doing well, happy Sunday, and let's just get right into it. Alright, so you guys failed the quest. That's unfortunate. I was actually hoping and expecting you guys to win. That's 2 in a row that you failed, so it's not looking too good. But I gave you guys a chance because of Rania. She got the right choice, so you guys passed, and I'm currently working on the next episode, which is going to be very cool. The one thing I want to talk about today is, of course, the riddle. Many of you had questions, many of you thought wrong, many of you thought it was the shadow when it was actually the cloud, and I want to use this video as an opportunity to explain my thought process and why the cloud is actually the right answer and not the shadow. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to go line by line. That's the way that I created this whole riddle. It was line by line, and I made sure that every choice at some point, one line was not going to work with that choice. And I left one of them that fit with all lines. I actually left it in a comment as a hint to, I think it was Rania. Yeah, that was the hint that I gave Rania to go line by line, which is why she went line by line. And that was the way that you had to process this this riddle. Keep in mind that these challenges and these choices that I make in this show, they're based on logic. Like I'm a very logical person, and I work with logic. So if you ever want to get an advantage, if you're ever unsure, never pick the cool answer or the answer that you think is going to give you the best story. That's not what I base myself off of. I base myself off logic and what I genuinely think is the most logical, the most realistic, and the most appropriate answer to everything. So keep that in mind. And also I want to mention that I'm very curious and I'm very intrigued that nobody actually Googled this riddle. Like my first instinct would have been to Google the riddle, because half of this riddle comes from Google. This was inspired, like I did write my own riddle, but it was inspired by a different riddle that was for a shadow. So maybe that's one of the reasons why you guys thought it was a shadow so much, because the first 2 lines apply directly to a shadow. I then changed the last 2 lines to make it fit within a cloud. So without further ado, let's just get right into the riddle. Alright, so line 1. I have only one color, but many shapes. So let's go one by one. Fire. Fire has different colors. Fire can be orange, fire can be red, and fire can be blue. These are definite different colors. It's not like a shadow where it's overall the same color, because technically a shadow also has different colors. If a shadow is on water, it's going to be dark blue. If a shadow is on asphalt, it's going to be dark gray, right? So shadow can also have different colors, but that's not how I meant it. I meant it more in the terms of general concept. Like the general concept of a shadow only has one color. The general concept of a cloud only has one color. It's gray. Sure, it can be dark gray. Sure, it can sometimes be dark blue gray. But overall, you don't think there's not an orange cloud, or there's not a blue cloud or a yellow cloud, right? Clouds are usually gray. And then you have water. Water has also one color. It's usually blue, right? Because the sky reflects off of water. Water in general is blue. And of course, all of these things have different shapes. So right off the bat, fire is the only one that's actually eliminated. Then we go to the second line, which is I appear and disappear, but always exist. So for a shadow, shadows appear and disappear, right? Going with the sun, but they always exist. There's always a shadow somewhere on the earth. Water appears, you can technically consider it like evaporates and then condenses, and also always exists. So water passes as well. And clouds, well, they're like similar to water, so they pass as well. Then the third line, the sun is my enemy, but with the rain, I am friendly. Now this to me is the line where it knocks off shadow, because the sun is my enemy. That can be true for the clouds, right? The clouds block the sun. And once again, don't go too deep with these things. Don't go into like the chemical properties and the atomic structure of like a cloud or water, or like the water molecules. I'm not expecting you to know that much about chemistry and physics. It was more so the concept of, right? If you have a cloud, you don't have a sun. So you can say that the cloud is the enemy of the sun because it blocks the sun. The same way with shadow, right? Shadows always run away from the sun, so you can consider them as enemies. Water, well, if you have too much sun on the water, then water evaporates. So you can also consider that as the enemy of the sun. So all 3 pass. But then you have, with the rain, I am friendly. Water is friendly with the rain. clouds are friendly with the rain. Rain comes from clouds. But how is a shadow friendly with the rain? To me, this was the line that knocks off the shadow, because shadows and rain have absolutely no link whatsoever. There's nothing that could say that a shadow would be friendly with the rain. So in my perspective, this was the line that shadow got knocked out. So then we're left with clouds and water, and we have the last line. I alone can do no harm, but can also feel no pain. While water can do harm. And I specifically wrote I alone, meaning that a cloud alone, not with rain, not with anything, not with thunder, not with anything else, just a cloud by itself cannot do harm. It's vapor. But water, on the other hand, water alone in large quantities, it's still water, can do harm. You can have floods, you can have people drowning. It's harmful. It can destroy things. But clouds don't really destroy things. So this line to me knocked out water, which meant that only cloud was left. And that's the way that I designed this thing, is to go line by line, and each line something was going to get knocked out, and you had to just make sure that the item that you were choosing, the image that you were choosing, fits within every single line. To me, personally, this was very logical. I've seen your arguments. You guys have some arguments whereas water should have passed or the shadow should have passed, which I get it, but you guys went too deep. Like, understand that this is a show that's meant to be for fun. It's meant to be somewhat educational, but it's mostly meant to be for fun. It's not meant for you to know like chemistry and physics and all of that. I do not expect that of you. It was more so related to the concepts, more so the actual details of that said thing. But you guys actually had some good arguments, and I'm very impressed with the amount of knowledge that you guys have about like clouds, the cycle, the atmospheric cycle of how clouds work. That was very good. That was very interesting to see. So I'm very happy that you guys mentioned those things. So yeah, guys, I really love this adventure. I'm really happy that one of you actually got it right. You followed the logical process, even though I hinted at it, doesn't matter. You guys have passed. You guys get to move on to the second quest. The second quest is very cool. You actually get to use the Seal of Elements, and like I said, there is going to be a choice at the end that's going to determine whether or not you succeed in this adventure. So I'm very excited for that. I'm going to now go back to working on that. Thank you so much for watching. This was the Game Master discussion. My name has been Darius. Thank you for your time, and I will see you next week.